Happy Monday, everyone. I hope you've had a great week. With the fall colors coming, we are all getting excited about the colors and this extraordinary time of year. So I thought it would be an appropriate time to discuss trees in your paintings and what to look for and how to go about painting trees. I love to paint trees. I think that's pretty obvious. My favorite trees are the large old growth trees, the coniferous trees, the giant holier than thou trees. They are my most favorite, but there's something to be said about the smaller evergreens with their fronds that flow and come and go and in and out. They've got a lot of very fabulous shapes. So it's all about learning to see the shapes in trees. And that takes a very trained eye. And today I came across this topic for my 10 minutes because recently I had one of my students who has been with me for a few years, and she's an awesome painter. And she suddenly was painting a group of deciduous trees in the fall with their glorious autumn colors. And it was looking really something just not right, and I couldn't quite figure out what was with it. And then all of a sudden I realized that she was used to painting the evergreen trees with their fronds, boughs, and she was not actually painting the leaves on the trees. So it was the right colors, but the wrong shape. And it didn't occur. And I've done this same thing myself. I think we probably all have done the same thing. And it's really important to get the shapes right. And the sky holes are also incredibly important when you're painting trees. There has to be sky holes. What I mean by that are the shapes between the branches where just sky is showing. On occasion, it's a bit of mountain showing through, not the sky. But those sky holes are vitally important. They are great negative shapes. They have to be the right number of sky holes. And they have to be different shapes. Each sky hole needs to be a different shape and a different size. And you do not, oh, Siobhan, hello, my dear. Thank you for being here. The sky holes, you don't want them all in a row. You want them scattered here and there. So make sure they're, some are larger, some are smaller. Doesn't matter what tree you're doing, you have to have the appropriate number of sky holes. Not too many, not too few. And the deciduous trees, when you're painting those leaves, the shape of the tree is different than with the coniferous. But more importantly, you don't want to be painting every single leaf. You are not going to be dabbing your leaves onto your canvas. You want to kind of squint your eyes, look at the trees, and really take note of the shape of the overall section of leaves. So you don't want to paint every individual leaf. If you look through your eyelids squinty like that, you may get a few extra wrinkles, but you will be able to see the main shapes, and that is what you're going to paint. And you also want to keep in mind where the light hits on all trees. The light will hit the bark, the trunk, but it will also hit the leaves. It will also hit the boughs or branches. So take note where the light hits, and then where it goes into a medium tone, and then it's going to go to a dark side. And if you just paint the light and dark, and you forget the medium tone of value, then your tree is going to look two-sided, not three-sided. You are looking for a three-dimensional subject on a two-dimensional flat canvas. So in order to make your tree look like it's round, going around, You've got to have the light, the medium, and the dark. And you also want to take note of your brush strokes. A tree grows up and down, and it is common for students to just paint all their strokes up and down and up and down. But if you take a look at Emily Carr paintings, she was the absolute master of trees, painting trees. And her strokes would go around, almost like when you cut a tree and you can see the tree rings. That's almost what her strokes look like. And I've done that on occasion. And if you take note of the painting that I posted yesterday with my old growth tree, you will see how I've got a whole bunch of strokes going up and down. And then all of a sudden I will put a stroke going across. And again, I squinted and looked at the shapes and the shadows that are on that bark. And some are cool and some are warm. Some are in shadow and some are not. And so that gives the impression of a round tree because everything's not going up and down. The other important thing is large trees. I shouldn't say important thing, but in this area, you have to know how to paint a large tree. I think that's you can't be living in this area if you do not have a relationship with large trees, or as some people call it, tamarack trees. And the most phenomenal thing about large is they are an evergreen tree, coniferous, I think, and yet they lose all their needles in the fall. They change colors from that deep green, and then it goes to light green, then to yellow, and then to orange, and then to brown. Absolutely phenomenal. I excuse some noise, but we're having a parcel delivered. So, that's what happens when you're live. So large trees are fabulous. Fabulous, and there's nothing better than painting that variety of colors. And I've done larches in all their different stages. And what could an artist ask for better than that? A tree that has a variety of colors, not just one or two. Nothing is better than that. But the thing is with larch is their needles are super soft. They're like delicate. And when they fall, you are walking on a carpet, a soft carpet of needles. Nothing is more spectacular. So you have to really understand your trees before you start painting one, because you've got to really get that those boughs on a larch tree are very different than boughs on an evergreen tree. Some are thicker. And the other important thing to note about trees is some of the boughs on the evergreens, they go up. If you can see on the painting behind me, the trees aren't quite finished yet. I don't have the bark put in, the trunks put in. But you have to understand, let me see, there we go. See these trees, these big trees right there. At the top, they kind of swag down, and then at the bottom, they start swagging up. So some are specifically down, some are more erratic, some have different shapes. You've got to be in tune with the boughs because you have to know your subject matter before you can do a proper job of painting it. So keep that in mind at all times. You have to become one with the tree and really, really get a feel for it. And it's the same with mountains, rocks, whatever it is you're painting. You've got to really have a firm foundation in what it is you're doing. So that's why I wanted to spend this 10 minutes talking about the different types of trees. And just keep in mind what it is you're doing. Don't go with what you've done in the past. If you're suddenly painting deciduous leafy tree in fall, don't think about the tree you painted in the spring because they're different beings. Even if it's the same tree, there's different worlds. Just go outside, sit in nature, and look at trees and really study them. See it with your eyes wide open. And most importantly, just enjoy. And more on that, I just posted a blog post yesterday talking about stillness and taking in your surroundings. So I will put a comment in the comment here with the link to my new blog post. I've got to do a couple edits here today. I found a couple typos, so I will do that and I'll post the link. And I've got some news coming up soon this week, so stay posted for that. All right, have a great day, everyone. Go look at some trees and let me know what you think. What's your favorite tree to paint? Let me know. I will see you here next week. Bye for now.